Hi guys, it's me! Now, does the idea of having a razor-sharp knife in the kitchen literally scare the shit out of you? Have you always wanted to cut things like the pros but just did not know how to? Well, fear no more, lovely people, because by the end of this video, you are going to know exactly how to wield your weapon. Sorry. Wield your weapon with all the confidence of a samurai. And stay tuned to the very end because I've got a little gift for you. Now, when it comes to kitchen equipment, probably the most important thing is a knife. You pretty much have to use it for everything you cook. And the most important thing when it comes to knives is that they have to be sharp. Not just a little bit sharp, razor sharp. Because, let's be honest, you can cut things with a spoon. You wouldn't really want to because you'd be more hacking at it and tearing it more than cutting it. Now, I'll be covering everything on sharpening a knife in another video. Trust me on this one, you need a sharp knife. Now, this may seem painfully obvious, but I guarantee that lots of you are actually holding your knives the wrong way. And you may be saying, but I know how to hold my knife, in a sort of Mickey Mouse impression, if you want. Most people don't know how to hold a knife properly and safely. It doesn't matter what you're cooking. Just knowing how to hold and use a knife properly is not only quicker, but also safer. So here's my knife. Now, please do not hold your knife just by the handle like this. That may seem like the most obvious way to hold a knife, but the problem is it can slip in your hand and you don't want something that sharp slipping, especially when it's around fingers, arms, the cat, whatever. The best way to hold a knife is to get your thumb and forefinger to hold the blade just in front of the handle and then let your fingers curl around the handle. This way, it can't turn in your hand. You've got a firm grip on the handle. You've also got hold of the blade. It's almost like an extension of your arm now. It can't move and it's a solid grip. Now, obviously, everyone's got a different size of hand and there's different sizes of handles, but the principle is the same. Hold the blade and then wrap your fingers around the handle. That will give you a super solid and very safe way of holding the knife. Now, it may feel a bit clunky and a bit awkward at first holding the knife like this, especially if you're used to holding like this or even worse like this. Get used to it because when you've got such a solid grip on the knife, it makes cutting a lot easier because there is no chance of it slipping. It's exactly where your arm wants it to be. So now you know how to wield your sword. How are you going to use it? Now, I'm going to share with you two very simple techniques. And to be honest, these are the only two you really need at home. Now, remember what we are cutting. Food. Remember what we're not cutting. Fingers. So how you hold the food being cut is vitally important to stop you losing any of these. So let me introduce you to
the claw.
What am I doing with my life? Now, it seems stupid, it seems ridiculous, but pretty much this is what all pros use of some variation or another. And essentially, you've got your hand like this. It's in a claw shape. And this simple technique alone will prevent any of your little piggies not being able to make it all the way home. Put your hand in this shape on the board and then curl your fingers slightly under. Make sure that the knuckle of your middle finger is slightly ahead of the other two because this is where the knife is going to be going against. This way, all of your fingers are out of the way and you can never ever cut yourself because it's basically gliding against this finger. That's basically how you hold the food and you're going to be cutting. Right, so that's all the health and safety fluff out the way. Gonna get sued. That's all of the important safety information covered, so you don't cut yourself. Better. Let's actually start cutting something. So the first technique is the rocking motion. This is by far the easiest method, but it's also extremely useful anytime. Now, holding your food with the claw, put your knife point on the chopping board with your blade against your middle finger knuckle. Then in a smooth rocking action, you slide down to cut through, and then back up again against your knuckle where you started. And all you do then is move your knuckle slightly back and do it again. You can do this without even looking very, very safely. So let's get one thing out the way first. It's not about speed. Do this nice and slowly when you first start. There's no need to rush. There's no need for speed. But it's a very simple technique and all you're doing, you're just slicing away. Super safe because all of your fingers are out the way. And what you'll end up with pieces all the same size, which is exactly what you want because then everything cooks evenly. The second technique is the up and down chopping method. This is good if you want to get some speed, but also you can get thin slices. Again, using the claw to hold the food so all of your fingers are out the way. You're holding the knife in exactly the same way again, but this time you don't put your point on the chopping board, you just put your blade against your knuckle, parallel to the food, and then down, and then bring it back up again, simple as that. And basically you just repeat. So when you're holding it, and you can cut, again, without looking, safely, and you end up with, like before, evenly cut pieces. With this method, you can get a lot more speed going. And super safe because all of your fingers are out the way. You cannot cut yourself. Now, like with the other technique, speed will come. I don't want to see any more people cutting food by holding it like this and then putting the knife there, which is terrible. If that knife comes down on your fingers, no more little piggies going all the way home. So there you have it. You now know how to use a knife properly in the kitchen for both safety and speed. You'll never have the chance of cutting yourself again. And if you want to start enjoying cooking for the fun experience it really is, make sure you smash that subscribe button, like the video, share it with your friends, share it with everyone. And as promised, click the link in the description below and you'll get my free PDF guide of the 5 home kitchen essentials, covering the only things you really need at home without wasting money on a load of extra gadgets that nobody needs or uses. Because it's time for you to get handy in the kitchen. That's all for now, guys. See you next time. Bye-bye.